do like this shirt.
I'm wearing this Municipal too.
This
This
good
is the
gear.
Easy Crew Light. Let me tell you, got a big box. Said
Yep.
Municipal on it. Was very excited.
Oh my
very
God.
excited.
Oh, this is good off.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, welcome into No Punts Allowed. Do you have a beer to crack for us?
Yeah, sure. We'll do it live. Usually I do 3, 2, 1, but we'll just do the cold open.
You just wing it.
Oh, there's definitely beer on the microphone.
Well,
I normally
the holidays, it's acceptable.
this is a holiday can, little Ninja versus Unicorn. I've done this beer before. Just look how
You have?
delightful that can is, though. For anybody, go to YouTube. Audio medium. I'll remind myself. But yes, cheers. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, friends.
How are you?
Good. We were just talking prior to starting the recording that this holiday season has felt a little strange just based on like the schedule and everything. And like we got to record next week, but a week after that we're in Houston for the national championship. Like things are moving very quickly.
Yes.
And today is National Signing Day when we are recording this, so it'll obviously come out on Thursday. Early National Signing Day, kind of a little bit more of a thing than we're used to, but we also have transfer portal stuff going on,
Yes.
so there is a lot going on. But this week, you and I both received packages from our proud sponsor, Municipal. Producer Matt put a note. Yay!
Okay.
Cheers!
We got, like you said, they were like big boxes. I walked home.
Huge boxes.
You did the same thing. Like it was like, oh my God. And then I put on a little fashion show for my wife. And actually, Caitlin got it on the goods too. Like,
Yeah.
and she was like, wow, this is the other part of all this. And we'll talk about what we got. And I'm going to do my unboxing. Even though I've already
He's so excited about this unboxing. The best is
I
I
am.
wish I would have been recording when you were showing the Municipal shoe bag that you have for those listening that he's holding up, and the Municipal is upside down. So that we were just saying that these ad reads for us are quite clumsy, but I feel like that just goes along with us, you know?
Yeah, I'm getting some feedback from my household that like I'm not putting all 100% professionalism into the Municipal reads, but that is us, right? We are authentic, and I hope and believe that Municipal is in for all of our silliness because there is a genuine bond with this. Now, this is my new shirt. I'm wearing a nice, what green would you say this is? It's a nice.
I would say it's like a neon green. Neon light green.
I need a little bit more of a tan, I think.
This I've got on is also Municipal. It is a something new that I didn't get. I was gonna wear. I got a bunch of those crop hoodies that say Municipal on them. By the way, I've been living in all my stuff. Each day I have a new sweatshirt. This is the Crew Light. This is new. It's the women's Crew Light. It's phenomenal. It says Municipal down the back. And also I specifically requested. I think I've said it a million times on the show. They have this like t-shirt blend that is like the comfiest shirt that I own, and I was like, I have it in this color. I will literally take it in any color you have.
I am with their pants.
Yeah.
Well, and now the shoes. So without further ado, I have never had a real shoe bag. So when I got the shoes and they come in the bag, right? I'm not. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open it. I don't know how that sounds. It sounds great right here.
Little ASMR.
Little ASMR. I didn't know what it was. I was going to I didn't know the initials. Check these out. These are lovely. I have put these on. And why I like this, because you know me, I'm more of like a typical like running shoe person. Like that's what I wear.
Yes.
This is like a level up for me, right? Like this is like, wow, that guy is
This does actually, no offense to you, this does level you up in the sense of like, it's a less daddish shoe, you know?
I was going to say it, so I'm glad you did.
Okay,
Not offended.
I'm glad we're safe here, but yes, use No Puns 20 on your first order to get a discount. Christmas, if you could probably rush some stuff to get to you, this is probably the time that you need to do it.
Yes.
It's fantastic. We love it. Definitely gonna rep it in the airport. Because also multiple times I've had people say something to me about it. So yes, shopmunicipal.com, guys.
And every time I watch UFC, there's Marky Mark, there's Mark Wahlberg positioned in this Municipal gear, right like in the line of sight. Like him and Donald Trump and Kid Rock, like Municipal does well represented on the UFC broadcast. But
love
okay,
that.
we should talk some football. I got a national signing day rant that I'm going to save for the end. I've been passively following along, not passively. I'm like checking in.
Okay.
If you listen to this podcast as a whole, as a disclaimer, if you haven't, like this is not a recruiting podcast. We are interested in recruiting. We cover the sport. I respect and appreciate the process, and there are certain players that I'm interested in the themes of recruiting more than I am the recruits themselves. But we're not, you and I are not recruiting junkies by any means. We follow, we analyze, we can react. But let's be real. We're not going to fake it here and tell you why the 4-star safety from Idaho is going to change your program. That's not what we do.
Because to be fair, it's not.
But when we were coming on, I was telling you like that I'm kind of like looking in, and we'll talk Nebraska a little bit, which has been awesome. Neighbor Jason is fucking juiced to the gills right now, which he should be. But it's been kind of a more classic signing day feel to it. You've been more connected to it than I am.
Yeah. There's been a decent amount of flips, a decent amount of guys saying, hey, I'm going to wait till February. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the transfer portal is so robust. I think there's like 1,600 names in the transfer portal at this point. So, and the window is technically still open. So it's a lot. I think one of the things that I'm sad about is that the narrative around like, oh, the transfer portal is ruining signing day and all this. Well, we used to not have early signing day. So really, I don't know why we're still doing it. It should be in February. We shouldn't have it. This should be portal season right now. And then signing day be in February. So kids can make decisions like, hey, you want to get them on campus and all of those things early. But you know what? Overall, the sport has changed for the better of the player. I know people are really annoyed that they changed the transfer rule. They ruled now that you can transfer twice without sitting out. There's a lot of things that people are not thrilled about. And it makes me sad because there are kids that today it's a really big deal for them. So I'm hoping that it doesn't take away from that, because a lot of people's conversation, they want it to be around the fact that college football is so different than it used to be and things like that, even though today was a pretty exciting day for some people. But it brought me back to the point of college football needs a commissioner. We need to be able to figure this out. We cannot leave it to the NCAA to figure this out. We need somebody who's in charge. And I know people are going to be like, didn't we have a group of people in charge and they just messed up our college football playoff? No. We need someone who's different like people. Guiding this. Yeah, different people.
Also true, but different argument.
Different people, different idea. And so I think, we need a commissioner so bad more than ever for college football specifically. And it's just never been more apparent than today when the narrative is around that. I saw Chip Kelly talk the other day about having football be separate from other sports and that it needs to be one giant conference, which I didn't hate. I mean, he had great points. So I think there's a lot of we know talking season is usually in July. I feel like this December has been a lot of talking about what needs to change in college football. And it's mostly about things that have changed that we just need to fix. And I think that's fair, but today's a big day for a lot of kids.
Yeah, I'm happy for the kids. I am. I'm happy for the kids, and like this is where the profession is exhausting, right? Yes. Ryan Day, who I've been hard on, getting news that he's landed one of the best wide receivers in the country, and I don't know if it was premeditated or not, but you could see genuine relief on his face at his press conference. That was pretty cool. Like that's neat, right? Like,
because we're going to talk about an Ohio State team that lost a quarterback to Syracuse.
I know.
What's going on?
Well, but here's the thing. Like, we don't have a bowl. We're recording this on signing day on Wednesday. We don't have a bowl game tonight. This is the perfect night for a bowl game, and we don't have a bowl game because of early signing.
Did you work on Monday?
I did.
So you didn't get to see the famous toast.
Oh no,
ball.
I had it.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was.
Those who were listening that work for Golden Tee, Adam was actually not watching that game. Those who do not, Adam was.
No. I was working, looking at spreadsheets. But I think move it to February. To your point, get it back to February.
Keep it back February. Just keep that it.
But also, we had it down. Like, the kids that wanted to enroll early would enroll early, and by the time we had an early signing period, you'd have 8 to 12 kids at Alabama in January. Like, nothing has to change. The kids that want to commit can commit. But like how, okay, you take some of the top recruits, the quarterbacks, like the Arch Manning's not even a great example, right? Dylan Raiola, like you take him, like it doesn't matter. He can commit whenever. The transfer portal's really not going to impact his decision, depending on where he goes.
Yeah.
He is the most coveted guy, and he's making money. But like, why would you commit right now? Other than the pressure of, oh, we're going to fill your spot, like real recruiting, right? How this normally goes beyond the elite kids. It's I miss the spectacle. We used to film these at the Bleacher Report studios. Again, it wasn't much of a recruit person there. They'd bring me there to talk about like what does it mean big picture. We had a blast because it was an event on the CFP calendar. It is not. It's fucking 4 or 5 days before Christmas.
Yeah,
it's bowl season. It's transfer portal season. It's a footnote in the sports calendar. It's really weird.
By the way, this time next year, we're going to be playing playoff games.
Yes.
So, like, that's another thing we have to consider. Yeah, you have to. Before next year, I think this probably will be the last of early signing period. I think the other thing is, why aren't we looking at the NFL? Like, the NFL has a draft, obviously, which you could say is what recruiting is from high school level. And they have a free agency period. Like, that is what you need to model this after. Like, if it's going to be sustainable and you're going to make it like free agency, follow how free agency goes in the NFL at the next level.
I can't imagine having to manage a roster right now in college football. I really can't. I know we're like between the portal and everything else. And I'll say this too. I can tell you that I don't want to say lack of interest in signing day, because I've always just kind of, looked from, beyond the fence, like, oh, that's neat. But like the fact that so many of these kids are going to transfer has also changed signing day for me. Like, let's be real. Like, how many of these quarterbacks are going to be at their school 2 years from now?
Yeah.
And right?
20% of like rosters are this season were made up of transfers.
That's wild. It's going to get higher too.
Yeah. Like, totally. And I mean, we saw that how at Florida State, for example, how you make the most of it and how you manage your roster properly. There's plenty of schools that have gotten into the transfer portal. I think one in particular, Lane Kiffin, is in Ole Miss. They've gotten in the transfer portal, and he dubbed himself the Portal King and things like that. He tweeted "Adapt or Die" today, which was very funny, from one of the greatest sports movies of all time, Moneyball. But those are places where they're able to do it, but have they been able to manage it the way that they wanted to? Now, do I think this next year that Ole Miss is going to be in a situation where that's going to happen? Certainly. But there are a lot of schools that can get in the transfer portal, but it's being able to manage that, the portal, being able to look at how many years of eligibility these transfers have. All of these things are factors. So it's so interesting to me. But I also do want to say one of the other things that really bothers me is the negativity around kids that are in the transfer portal. Like, I heard a show earlier, them talking about, oh, well, why is that guy leaving the school? Well, you find that stuff out. They're not just going in there and picking names. Like, college football recruiting still has entire staffs dedicated to do this. They are aware of these guys. They know these things. They have contacts to be able to find this stuff out. That's their job. Okay? The idea that a student has to stay at a school for a certain amount of time, or if they don't play, that they shouldn't be in the transfer portal because like it shows that they can't sit behind somebody or whatever, it's just not fair, because it's so different for each individual player. So that narrative is like very, very frustrating as well. I will say it's a very lazy way of looking at the transfer portal and how it can support, one, rosters being shifted quickly, especially with coaching carousel moving that quickly. You can change your roster in a year of being at a program a lot easier with the transfer portal than you could not. So it's also benefiting coaches as well. So it bothers me that it's like, oh, players' character is now, if you go in the transfer portal, like, it's because you want the money if you're a quarterback, or because you were, did not have enough character to sit it out where you were.
It's a very similar discussion to when a junior or an underclassman declares for the draft, and we disagree with the decision. We have no idea. Because you could argue from a football standpoint, we see a lot of bad decisions made every year. I've talked to people about this. Oh, man, guy should have come back. Why didn't he come back? Well, you have no idea what that kid is doing or going through, or like, he hates it. I hate it here. Like, I don't like, I'm going to give this a go. And if it doesn't work out, I'll find something to do. So I think, yes, the internet, this is what the internet does. And by the way, one other note that you mentioned, Lane Kiffin, and I think it's really interesting. We're going to see more of this. So obviously the portal and NIL are making things very interesting. Mm-hmm. The ability to basically buy your roster, more or less. I think you're going to see teams. I think it was Bud Elliott who mentioned this on Twitter. You have like Ole Miss, whose schedule next year is like, it's hard because it's the SEC. You're adding Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Still play Georgia. But it's pretty favorable compared to some others. And one of the things I'm curious with, if you can have teams with the expanded playoff, and this was the point I think Bud made, that like say, hey, we got $3 million, $4 million to work with. This is our year. Like, look at who we're playing. Like, let's load up and make a push for the playoff. Like, that is the new reality of college football. I think
it's the NFL.
With the rules and with the expanded playoff, you're going to have teams like an Ole Miss or a Penn State or a Missouri who's done some really good things that says like, hey, shit, you're Missouri. You're right there. You were there this year.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it. Let's run it back and let's invest in this thing. In like the business term, right? Like you have a successful business. Let's pour gasoline on the fire to try and grow this. Like, but you're going to do it in like 1 year cycles. If you want to transform your roster and you've got a good roster already, you can do that.
It's like teams that are in a win now situation where you're like, hey, I'm going to go get that guy. And like, that's the thing. It's like, it's okay for it to develop into something that looks a lot more similar to what we're used to at the pro level. That is okay. Yes. And I think as even like that we've talked about this, even the media landscape on this stuff has changed so much. So it is very interesting to see how much change. Some like nuggets from national signing day that I will say, a guy that used to be at Ole Miss, Hugh Freeze.
Yes.
Recruiting very well, able to flip some guys that were committed to other SEC schools, which is a big deal. Okay, that is a huge deal to be able to do that. Nebraska obviously coming out big. Florida had some guys leave, but a lot of top guys that are still committed to Billy Napier specifically. So that's huge, I think, for him in general. The usuals of Alabama, Texas, and all of that. And then last but certainly not least, Florida State. Okay, I know that Florida State fans are not looking for moral victories here, but thank goodness they were left out of the playoff at the last year of it being 4 teams, because it certainly didn't affect their ability to recruit during this signing window. And so they should be happy with their signing class as well.
Yeah, I saw they lost a couple of pieces down the stretch, but like in general, you're absolutely right. And
yeah,
but you bring up a good point, right? How has NIL changed recruiting? Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State. It's like same as it ever was. Now, where I do think it starts to impact it potentially is number 4 Oregon. Mm-hmm. You mentioned number 5 Texas, which is probably NIL driven, but also Texas being Texas. Number 6 Florida State. Number 7 Miami. Miami's been in positioning from it. Number 8 Auburn. You mentioned it. That's a big deal for Auburn fans. I think
it is huge.
Two 5-star recruits. Again, Oklahoma 9, Notre Dame 10, LSU. Clemson, Tennessee, Penn State, Michigan, which I wonder how much Harbaugh's, how much that's going to impact that. But ultimately, outside of Michigan being, I think, a little lower than we're used to, this is sort of the same as it ever was. Yeah. And Kirby doing the thing, by the way. More of that.
Kirby's still doing the thing. I will say also, even the 4 playoff teams that there are this year have had like top 10 recruiting classes consistently in the years leading into their playoff appearances. That's kind of been the theme with the playoff as a whole. And that includes Washington. So like and now you move Washington and Oregon to, the Big Ten, even USC and UCLA. Like you're able to use that to your recruiting ability. I mean, not to say that it wasn't, they weren't doing well before, but recruiting to the Pac-12 was a little bit harder. The Big 12, definitely going to be an interesting one to watch, I feel like, in terms of, like, there's a lot of recruits to be had, despite the fact that everyone thinks that there's not enough scholarships. There's plenty of space for these kids, by the way. It is going to be interesting to see who starts to come out on top of the Big 12 in terms of recruiting, with Oklahoma and Texas leaving. I know Texas Tech had a big day. There's some Pac-12 schools. You got Coach Prime that's going to be in the Big 12. So it's the shifts are happening, and it's for me, I'm excited about it. I don't know why I'm so negative today.
I have a question about Coach Prime. I'm trying
What
to
is
find.
your question about Coach Prime?
Well, all right. So I am on 24/7 Sports team rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado, I can't see it going beyond 50, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Colorado is in the Big 12 is ranked dead last behind Houston, behind Baylor, behind Utah, behind Kansas State. They have 6 commits total, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's partly why they're dead last, because when you look, they've got 5-star, 3 4-stars, and then 2 3-stars. So in terms of average, that's actually really good. When you look at compared to others, that average is basically, I mean, that's incredible, but you have 6 commits. So, okay. What is the plan? I know we've had this conversation in different forms.
Yeah.
We know what the plan is, which is basically the portal.
Yes, because I was going to say, we just talked about win now. That Colorado's a win now with Coach Prime, because Coach Prime is not going to be there in 5 years.
But you know what it reminds me of, though? You buy a nice house, and your foundation and your pipes are completely fucked up. The interior of your house, you've got major issues. You've got plumbing issues. You've got electric issues. But instead of doing that, you put on new siding, you put on a new roof, you do it like you expand it, right? You put in a hot tub, but like to me still, and I get it, the portal, you can get younger with the portal. This does not promote long-term program health. This is like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Like this is I don't think it's good. Honestly, I don't think it's good. I'm curious. I love people trying new shit. But I don't think this is going to work out very well.
I will say in the short term, I think Dion can figure it out, like, and make it work. But to your point, for the Colorado program, and as soon as Coach Prime is no longer there, that shifts, that goes away. And you're not setting it up to be sustainable or have people that are committed because of, the university. The portal is definitely about money, like we've talked about it. And high school recruits, it's a little different. Yes, they're getting money. Don't you worry. But for guys that are not in the top 300 that are committing to these schools, they're committing to these universities and these schools for a reason. And they want to go play college ball. So I think that's the part that may be lost in terms of building a culture a little bit, is not doing that through the high school system.
I'm fascinated. I'm trying to find where they're ranked overall. But they are outside the top 50. And that's crazy. Like, to me, like, it's just it. And I know why. They are right now number 98 in the country. So let me tell you, recruiting wise, I figured out how to do this, by the way.
Good job. I'm proud of you.
Oh, wait, there's a load more button. I'll be damned. So, number 98, the Colorado currently is right behind Eastern Michigan, Texas State, Northern Illinois, Northwestern, Kent State, Boston College, Marshall. And they are just in front of South Alabama and Central Michigan. Again, I know there's more to the story here. I acknowledge it and even appreciate it. It still feels like it's not a sound strategy to just basically ignore this portion of this practice.
Yeah.
Kirby ain't doing this shit.
Yeah.
Nick ain't doing this shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, so 6 commits. 6. I mean,
By the way, they still had till February to figure this out too, so we'll see.
They do, and a lot of it is roster management, but Georgia has 28, right? Alabama has 25.
But see, I guess like my thought process behind this is like, I don't view them as competing for a national championship. I view them as competing for their conference championship. And it's not going to be that quick to turn around to be able to compete for a national championship unless your name's Mike Norvell and you are recruiting at Florida State.
I also would like to say, if you want to see the impact of NIL, right? And this is where I think it's good. I'm looking at 24/7 Sports top commits. Jeremiah Smith, the wide receiver, who I've seen videos of and is an insane talent, going to Ohio State. Dylan Raiola, going to Nebraska, number 2, right? DJ Lagway, that was a good Florida development today, sticking with number 4. You got Missouri getting a top 5 kid. You got Florida getting another one. You got Miami and Auburn here. You got Tennessee in here. You've got Colorado, who we just shit on, getting the best offensive tackle in football. I don't know if that's official or not, but I know right now that's where he's committed. So the one thing that's cool, Texas Tech has a top 18 kid. A&M with a coaching change still in here. South Carolina. So the one thing NIL has done, and let's be real here, it's because of money, right? It's because of money. It's kind of widened the horizons for a lot of these programs. So a program like Nebraska can go out, and granted, you have a legacy kid, right? There's connections to Nebraska anyways.
Obviously, yeah.
But like Nebraska just got like the number 2 player. There's all over the place. That's fucking cool. Like,
I
that
do
part
want to
is
say,
cool.
you and I, so I watched an interview with Matt Rule today, and they were like, Coach, tell us how that all happened. Like in Georgia, you know, how does it all happen, you know? And all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, actually, I didn't really have to do much. I just got a phone call from him, and he said his heart was here. So, you know, we figured that out. And I was like, all right. That, first of all, there's no, like, I'm sure that was the last phone call that was made. And he was like, hey, Coach, you guys have space. This is what I'd like to do. Can I come play for you? And of course, he's going to say yes. But very funny on that front that was
my heart is here.
Yeah, my heart is here. So,
here,
yeah.
Hold this briefcase. Is your heart here?
Do you feel your heart in this briefcase?
Oh, man. My heart is here. This thing is nice. It weighs a lot.
Is a perfect transition into what used to be a level 1 violation from the NCAA, and they're dishing them out to one Jim Harbaugh. So during the COVID-related times, there were some things that happened.
Backup for Harbaugh.
And Harbaugh is now back in the headlines, not only for that, but because the Chargers are apparently interested in him, which is all fun and games. We've heard extension talk. We've heard all of this. We're, as our Jim Harbaugh homer expert here, how do you feel about the Jim Harbaugh situation? What do you think actually happens?
So there's a lot to unpack, because apparently there's a contract extension sitting on his desk for $11 million a year. And I think we talked about this last week, that he hasn't signed, or who knows, right? But the stipulations are you're not going to take a job this site. Right. So I wrote months ago that I still think that he was out. Now, these violations, people are going to hear, Harbaugh on violations. Like, no, this isn't the whole sideline thing. Like, the NCAA is backed up, right? Like, we'll get to that.
This isn't even sign stealing.
And he has served a internal suspension for this already, right? Like
that was the initial thing that we talked about.
That was the initial thing. So I think we got to make sure people understand. So this is still a big deal. He wasn't truthful with the NCAA. A big deal to the NCAA when you look at how they've reacted. However you feel about the NCAA being an enforcer in this, like, that's how it goes. So as Harbaugh evaluates his future, right? And by the way, they're playing Alabama in one of the most anticipated semifinal games we've ever had. I still think, the Chargers, the Bears, I think make a ton of sense for him because he has a connection there like he did. I still don't think he's going to be at Michigan next year.
I don't think he will either. I think
that all this shit, it's
too
like
much.
It's time.
It's too much, especially with how college football is set up. Like, it is. It's
Doesn't
too much.
Recruiting tell a story too, by the way? Doesn't that recruiting?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we've had this before with him, and they've delivered top 5 classes. Like so like it's interesting that, and there's top 15. That's still really good, but that to me is pretty telling. So I think people think he's going to go. To him, I don't know if I'd coach the Chargers. I mean, I get it. Justin Herbert, hopefully healthy. There's a decent foundation there. I think this is still it. I thought it was, and Michigan, obviously. I don't know where the part that's so interesting to me. Where is Michigan on this? They have an extension, a mini $55 million commitment to him. Mm-hmm. But that internally they got to be like, this has got to be exhausting with them, and this is still a long way to go with all this crap. So you're right. Like, step one
him
is
leaving would be a big, as much as he's coached well enough for them to be in the playoff. I get it, multiple playoffs. it would be a sigh of relief for them to not have him around.
Well, and their future coaches on the roster. Like, that's the other thing they have. Like, they're not.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd have to do a coaching search. You'd think more the head coach, like, easily now. Like,
yep.
Which is awesome. Like, so you have a guy that's proven that his coach that actually people seem to really like, and like that changes it a little bit too. But yeah, I don't know. I still think the Harbaugh thing is very much TBD. And if he wins a national championship, then what? Like, how does that impact? To me, it's like goodbye. Like, knowing him, like he just walks off the stage, you never see it.
Yeah, I anticipate him losing another semifinal and then riding off into the distance. So that is what we're going to do. But we should talk about some bowls.
Yes, we should. All right. So where do we leave off?
We need to start with the, hold on. I have it here. The roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl between the University of South Florida, who held Alabama during their first half against them this year, versus Syracuse on December 21st.
Syracuse doing some work in the portal.
Yeah. All right, cool. That was very random. Also, we did not even talk about Dante Moore and Dylan Gabriel both going to Oregon.
Money is good. So
even if you sit, money's good.
My heart is here. My heart.
Okay.
Their hearts are there. Yeah. And it is fascinating, right? Like, I just would love to know the terms. But actually, if you're Moore, this was kind of a really disruptive year. Like you had UCLA saying he was going to decommit, he was going to leave early, even before he got there. And I actually think that if you're a young quarterback with a lot of talent, which he is, look at the Heisman, look at how this all planned out, and I think you're like, okay, if I can sit 1 year and maybe not sit, who knows?
Yeah.
But like if I could learn and get ready, so when I can go pro, the year I can go pro, I am primed for a big season. That's fine. Like, I think quarterbacks slowing down a little bit, A, it's great for the sport, and B, I think it makes a lot of sense. But it is a surprising thing. We're not used to seeing that. Dan fucking Lanning, my guy now. We're on better terms than we were.
Yeah, I want to roll the tape back where you...
It was not great. I don't burn the tape. All right.
Yep.
We have Syracuse and we have South Florida. Do you have a point spread?
I'm going to guess, is Syracuse favored?
They are favored.
By 6.5.
It is only 3 points. Now, I got to be honest with you. I have not watched a lot of South Florida this year. Okay,
I watched them versus Alabama.
I watched that. They got their doors blown off against UTSA. By the way, covered that game even without Frank Harris. That was satisfying. They barely beat UConn. Syracuse has got the mojo, right? Mm-hmm. Right? This is not sound betting advice. I kind of lead Syracuse in the game. The total in here, by the way, 55.5. That's a bigger total.
Yeah.
Than you would think between these two.
Yeah. I would lean Syracuse as well. Look at us. Go ahead.
Real quick. So UTSA, I mentioned I won my bet on UTSA. Busy day yesterday. I'm running around. I had put a bet in. And I go down and I look, and it's UTSA -7, -7.5. They had been 10.5, 11, 12, even higher. It is fucking hard to bet on the bowl season.
It is so hard.
If your head is not on a swivel, like even if it is, like it's, and I'm writing for locks for Bleacher Report. I was telling you before we started recording, like I've had to rewrite like 4 different games. I liked Maryland, and then Talia.
Yeah.
Like, and then all of a sudden it's like the line jumps 5 to 10, 7 points. So it's really difficult. It is really difficult to opt out. My advice to anyone out there would be find local beat writers who cover these teams. I've said this before, even early in the season when you're trying to figure out quarterbacks and all that, spring football, find the good beat reporters that cover these teams because they know best. But even they, I feel like, are left in the dark. So
that is sound betting advice.
It's just. But
I do want to shout out the Scooter's Coffee Frisco Bowl because we did look up Scooter's Coffee and it did look very delicious, and we are welcome them as
come on
podcast sponsors for sure. I would like you to read the next Friday, December 22nd bowl for us, if you could.
Now, I'm leaning into my screen because the text is very small.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very old doing this. Do I look old doing this?
Yes.
The human... Oh, my God. I said human. Why am I so bad?
This is my favorite game.
I'm nervous because I can barely see
games?
it.
All right.
I got it. The
Try one more time.
Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl.
Good job.
UCF versus Georgia Tech. By the way, color-wise, that is a fascinating color match. Like, I know they're not the same colors, but this is the same...
Stop trying to divert from you.
Color. No, nothing to see here. Look at this. Look at this very elaborate point about uniforms.
Human.
So, human.
The H... Because it's Union Home.
Oh, wow. Incompetence. It's a thing.
I'm sorry. It's so good.
No, but you knew it. You just like...
I knew. That's the one. I knew. It's because you get so worried. No, it's because you get so worried about saying Gasparilla Bowl. Gasparilla is hard to say.
Yeah, it was.
And so you were looking ahead, and so I knew that was going to be hard.
Fumbled on first down.
This is the best segment that we have every year is reading the names of bowls. So I just want to put that out there.
And this is not forced. Okay, I want to be clear about something. You trust my incompetence that much that you could just say, Adam, create content. And I do.
Here we are.
Here I am.
Here we are. All right. Georgia Tech versus UCF. I am... Ooh. Actually, is UCF favored in this?
They are. They're favored.
Okay.
The total. I'll start with the total.
Is it a bajillion points?
67.5.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's close to a bajillion.
It's one of the biggest totals that we have here.
Okay. Let's go with UCF. Is it less than a touchdown?
It is.
4.5.
It's 5.5. That's a pretty good guess. I don't have a great feel here. I mean, that total seems way too high.
Yeah, I would say maybe take UCF in Tampa.
And the under?
Yeah, UCF in the under. Yeah.
I can't bet Georgia Tech in this game.
Yeah, it's just not worth it.
All right, so we move to Saturday.
Yes.
23rd, which is a delightful day of football.
It is especially with the late night slate. We love that.
No, it is. I'm excited because I think I can do some work here on the beer and wine front, wrapping presents.
Same.
Watching football.
I will not be working this Saturday of college football, so get excited that the tweets will be tweeting.
The 76 Birmingham Bowl, which I need more bowls that are like this. It's very easy.
Okay.
We've got Troy and we've got Duke. Again.
You skipped a bowl.
This is the first one I got. Oh, the next one's the same time, 11 a.m. Are you talking about the Camilla Bowl? And we'll get to the Camilla Bowl. See how much conviction I said it with? So the 70, excuse me, I'll go back. The 76 Birmingham Bowl.
The Camilla
Troy
Bowl?
versus Duke. I actually kind of like Duke. Troy's a team I like a lot.
Yeah.
I know we're worried about the opt-outs for Duke, especially at quarterback. Completely. But Duke and they lost.
What's
the
coach. Spread again? Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was making fun of you for saying Camilla Bowl.
I didn't say what the spread was. I didn't actually say what the spread is because you can go ahead, take it. It's an interesting spread, by the way. I'll say that.
Is Troy favored?
Yes.
I'll go back to 4.5.
7.5.
Shoosh. Yeah, the opt-outs and the transfers from Duke, I would gather that's... I honestly, I would bet Troy. I know you said you couldn't...
I like Duke.
Didn't think that, but okay.
Well, I think it's a Duke's MO to just kind of ugly up a game. Like I think Duke knows how to just play a really...
Coach-wise too, though? Like, I don't know. I don't think so.
44.5. I like this Troy team, but I'm inclined to take the points here.
All right. And
now, did you say I said it wrong?
Yes.
How do you say it?
It's not the Camilla Bowl. It is the Camellia Bowl.
I thought that's what I said.
You said the Camilla Bowl.
The Camellia Bowl. What is camellia? Do we know?
Isn't a camellia a type of flower? Or am I just making that up?
No, that sounds right. probably a casino.
It's
Camellia
probably...
is a type of flower. Nice
wow.
job.
Thank you.
All right. So we've got Arkansas State and Northern Illinois. Both are 6-6. It's an 11 a.m. bowl game.
This has potential to be weird.
This is as
in Montgomery, Alabama, by the way.
Yeah, you've got two Alabama bowls starting at the same time on 2 days before Christmas. I fucking love bowl season. I do.
Do you have is Arkansas...
yes, they are.
Arkansas State is favored?
Yes.
By a bunch?
No, not a bunch.
3?
Exactly 3. Well done.
I would take Arkansas State.
I would take Arkansas State too.
This is my sound betting advice for this podcast before we get through the rest of the games, is that actually when people are betting on this, people probably know more information than you do if you're just looking at bowls to bet. I would trust Vegas more during this time of year than any other time of year, if that makes sense.
They got to keep their head on a swivel too. Like they're trying to not get burned.
Exactly.
Now, the Lockheed Martin. Oh, it's Heed. Son of a bitch. See, I'm looking and it looks like an A. The Lockheed Martin. Why did I say Lock? I said it weird to be. All right, let's try a do-over. The Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl between Air Force and James Madison University. It's in Fort Worth, Texas. It's a good game. I don't know what the hell happened to Air Force, by the way. Still can't believe that.
That is pretty wild. This is a really good game of like you guys both should have ended up. One of you should have ended up in a New Year's Six bowl and didn't.
Now the other part of this that's important, which is very cool. Jordan McLeod, the James Madison quarterback, who was a conference player of the year, really good, I believe is playing in this game, even though he's transferring. He's staying with his team to transfer. But if you look at what James Madison has lost in terms of coaches, obviously, because they lost their coach and they lost a lot. I mean, I kind of like Air Force here, even though Air Force has like really been a strange team. I think this has been a very disruptive, trying to handicap motivation's hard. But I think this is a pretty good spot for Air Force.
All right.
I'm going to read this one.
Yes, I know you are.
I got this one. Best mascot in sports. Famous Idaho, Potato Bowl, Georgia State, and Utah State. Total is 59.5. That is an aggressive total.
There's a lot of points in these bowls. Georgia State favored?
No, but it is close. It's close-ish.
It's only 2.5 then?
It is 2.5. See, we got good, like you can decipher the cues. We've done this enough. I don't know in this fucking game, by the way.
I'm just going to watch it to enjoy the famous Idaho Potato Bowl because that's what it is.
Still one of my favorite bowl season memories is watching somebody hold an umbrella over that giant, disgusting, and horrifying potato mask.
Yeah, that was actually ridiculous.
It's like, what a shitty job that is. All right, the 68 Ventures Bowl.
There you go.
Whew. Thanks for the layup there.
Got
you. We got a scout. Oh boy, we got some tough ones coming up. South Alabama and Eastern Michigan. Now, I'm going to warn you, this is a massive point spread. I can't verify this, but I think that this is most likely the biggest spread of the bowl season.
Wow. Really?
For South Alabama, obviously, yes.
Yes, South Alabama is favored.
It is.
I also want to know
spread.
this is in Mobile, Alabama. Isn't it? I think this is their home field.
Yes, so we have 3 Alabama bowl games on Saturday. Why not?
By the way, I have been to this Mobile, Alabama. I've been to the Southern Alabama campus, actually. Just heads up. I have merch. Fun fact.
Merch is always key.
Okay, largest spread. Is it in the 20s?
It is not. You're getting closer to the 20s.
So I would say like 18 or 17.5 because
17. You were close. That was good.
Yeah, because I think we talked about one last week that was like 16 maybe? 14?
Yeah, and Florida State, Georgia is a big one too.
Okay.
But this is
for
17.
Georgia?
Yeah.
Oh, duh, because yeah, never mind. I was so stupid. Never mind.
At least you're not reading
even
bold.
with their opt-outs, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I think South Alabama's gonna. I think
South Alabama's actually a good team.
Yeah,
like,
so I think that's safe.
Think they're. Okay, now late night games. So we could play 3 bowl games in Alabama. We could also play 1 in Vegas.
Love it.
SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. I almost crumbled on distribution. I did. That's limping.
Oh.
You've got Utah and Northwestern.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
so is Utah favored in this?
They are.
I actually don't even need to look at the spread or know what the spread is for me to say that I'm going to take Northwestern.
Okay. It's funny you say that because I have a similar stance, but the opposite. Mm-hmm. Northwestern has cost me so much money this year. And I'm going down betting against them again. I just am like, I want them to play a real team and beat a real team.
Spread is 7.
6.5. Nicely done.
Thank you.
The final game of the 23rd is the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl. And I just want to say, it is a goddamn travesty that this game is not on Christmas Eve. I know you don't want to compete with the NFL. College football is a bunch of fucking babies. Put it on Christmas Eve. Put it on Christmas Eve. I don't care where it is on the calendar. It's very annoying. It is, however, a 9:30 p.m. Central start time, which I do appreciate. Coastal Carolina versus San Jose State. Okay. Big number. Not as big as the one we talked about, but this is a good size number. Yes. San Jose State is a team that got a ton of odds maker support late in the year. And they were actually, unlike Northwestern.
Yeah, because Coastal's playing without their starting quarterback.
Yes. And San Jose State won their last 6 games. They beat UNLV. They beat Fresno State. They beat the hell out of Fresno State. They beat Utah State.
Is it 11?
It is 10.
Okay.
I like San Jose State here, by the way.
So my boyfriend graduated from San Jose State. So I feel like if I choose anything other than San Jose State, I would be in kind of big trouble. But I also agree that I would take them anyway.
They're good. They're a 7-5 team. But when you look at their season, it's one of the strangest seasons we had. They lost 5 of their first 6 games. They were 1-5, and then they won it.
They played pretty well against USC in the start of that game.
Well, that's true, right? Because they played. Talk about a start. They played at USC. They played Oregon State. They played Cal Poly. They played at Toledo.
Yeah.
And they played Air Force. I mean, you can't name a more brutal start to the season than that.
Yeah.
Like, that is brutal. Toledo was good. You played at Toledo, and they lost 21-17. So, lost to Boise State, at Boise State. Nobody wins at Boise State. So it's a good team. All right.
Delightful Saturday. We've got the Tuesday, the 26th, and then we'll stop after this day because we have to go through Wednesday, the 27th because we'll probably record on Wednesday.
Oh, Jesus. All right. We'll do these a little bit more rapid fire then.
Yes, sorry. I won't make Kramer read them.
No, I'm going to do that. That's part of it. The Quick Lane Bowl. Again, why do I say it so awkwardly? Quick Lane.
The Quick Lane Bowl.
Quick Lane Bowl. Minnesota versus Bowling Green. The total in this game is a very cozy Iowa-like 39.5. I don't know what to do with this game. It's in Detroit. I kind of like Bowling Green.
What's the spread?
3.5. Yeah, we can do we can kind of rip through these. I kind of like Bowling Green. Minnesota 5-7 in a bowl game. Also hilarious.
Yikes. Yeah, that actually kind of makes me want to take Bowling Green.
We have the Serve Pro First Responders
Bowl. All right, good job.
Thanks, man. Rice and Texas State. Texas State minus 5.5. By the way, Luke McCaffrey, who I believe was the quarterback, Luke McCaffrey, right?
Yep.
Now a wide receiver at Rice, had a good year. Is this true?
Athletic genes.
Am I just making this up? Is this another Luke McCaffrey? Whatever.
It's definitely the Luke McCaffrey, related to younger brother of Dylan and Christian, I want to say.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Dylan went to Duke. Yep, it's the same one.
I think I interviewed him.
Probably.
For a Scott Frost story. Man. Luke McCaffrey. The old Wikipedia.
Yep.
But he's a good wide receiver now. Where he played for his father. Yep. He played wide receiver deep end through his first 2 years of high school. Oh, no, it was Dylan McCaffrey.
Yeah, Dylan McCaffrey was at Duke.
He did play some quarterback.
Yeah. I think Dylan was a wide receiver as well.
No, and he played quarterback beforehand, so I wasn't necessarily wrong. All right.
And then brother of snub Theismann winner, Christian McCaffrey.
Jesus.
NFL MVP, Christian McCaffrey. Sorry, I'll stop.
Good. He is so good. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl, Kansas versus UNLV. I like this game, but the point spread is massive, 12.5 points. Kansas is favored by 12.5. UNLV is an interesting team, 9-4. Kind of limped down the stretch a little bit, lost their last 2 games, San Jose State, Boise State. I don't know what to do with that game. I don't know that
Kansas 12 is kind of a lot for a bowl game.
You know what we're doing? We're doing the over. That's what we're doing. We're going to do the over.
Okay.
We're going to do the over. It's 64.5. We're going over. All right. Wednesday, the 27th. This is where shit starts to get real.
Yep.
In fact, I got to talk to neighbor Jason, because one night we're going to go out. We're going to watch football games. This is in the contention for one of the nights we're going to go out potentially to watch. Although I don't know, man. Arizona, Oklahoma the next night looks pretty good. Okay, but either way, it's a good day of games. We've got 4 bowl games. Virginia Tech at Tulane. I just wrote about this game. It's the Military Bowl presented by GoBowling.com. Very professional. Virginia Tech, 10.5 point favorite. Tulane is down 6 starters. They're down their coach. They're down their quarterback. I think Va-Tech, it's one of my favorite plays the whole bowl season. I think Va-Tech's going to beat the shit out of them.
I agree with you.
We have the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Bowl. Love this bowl.
Very near and dear to the pod.
Yeah, very near and dear. Done a Mayo bath before.
Yes. We, I'm going to text my wife, because my kids are supposedly not leaving. We have potential for kids to walk down during the podcast.
I love this. So North Carolina versus West Virginia in this game. You're fine. You're texting.
Yes. It's West Virginia minus 6.5. Drake May out, of course.
I actually kind of like that.
West Virginia?
Yeah.
I kind of like the over here, too, 54.5. How about the DirecTV Holiday
Bowl?
All right, I can tell you right now, I want to pick this game in locks. I don't know what to do. USC, Louisville. Louisville is minus 7.5. By the way, we didn't really talk about this. USC is losing like everybody. Everybody is portaling defensive players that they had.
Yeah.
Not great vibes right now from Mr. Lincoln Riley. You do anything here? I don't know if I want anything to do with this.
I'd take Louisville. I don't think USC is in a good spot. And we saw how their bowl game went last year, even when they did have players.
I don't know what I'm going to do there. Stay tuned. Last but not least, maybe it is least, the Tax Act Texas Bowl. Texas A&M versus Oklahoma State. A&M, 2-point favorite. The over-under is 53.5. Now, Gordon is in the portal, correct? For Oklahoma State. A&M is, boy, there's a lot of pieces in the portal. Evan Stewart, I saw, is in the portal, who I really like. I mean, there's a lot of.
Yeah, I think you say quarterback and people are like, oh no, but I kind of still like Oklahoma State in this game.
I kind of do too. I don't feel great about it. This is like this bowl kind of epitomizes just how much crazy movement, all the fucked up shit that we have in.
Yeah.
So there you have it. There is our very
Part
sloppy,
2.
poorly read by me, not you, bowl season preview. I enjoy that very much.
I enjoy it too, and I can't wait for the clip of you reading bowl names. That's really going to be top notch. We'll be back next week after Christmas. Have a Merry Christmas if you celebrate. Can't wait for kid Christmas stories. from the Kramer household.
Yeah, we got
I
a
feel
lot
like
of
they
stuff
will
to do.
be. I think we also will need to recap some like food things that you made and drink things that you made, because I feel like you're big on that.
I am.
So we will certainly have some more holiday cheer and not be so football centric. Man, that was a football heavy pod for us.
It was. I think next week is normally the week where the pod is completely off the rails, and I think it may be a
holiday
wine week.
Chaos.
Yeah,
hey, you know what? I can commit to that. Well, yeah, I can. I can commit to that.
Rivalry week,
I'm off.
but
Rivalry week.
Wine week.
Yeah, it's wine week. Actually, we can do a wine pod because I will be off work, and also I'm leaving to go on like an overnight trip that's like kind of close by, and guess what? I won't be the one driving, so
yes, that's perfect.
Sold.
Yes, we will commit to that. No, it should be fun. It's gonna be a fun week. I hope everybody has good fun with fam, gets what they want.
Win bets.
You know what? Here's the other thing. Win bets. Buy yourself something nice this year. I did this. I actually bought a new TV.
You've been dying. I cannot believe this hasn't made the pod yet.
I know. I know. It's like...
And the best was that you called me the other day and you're like, this is our random shit. You called me the other day and you're like, yeah, I just finished this and just need to know like what I need to do for this because my dad's coming over. We're putting up my new TV.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, well, like chop Paige, give me my deadlines and tell me exactly when this needs to be done so that I can get my new TV up. And I was like, all right,
dude. It was the text of like, I am ready to like start goofing off. What else do I need to do? And then it was like, you were like, hey, we actually don't have to do this. It was like, oh my God. So yes, behind me again, middle TV is magnificent. It is magnificent. Again, treat yourself. This would be my one message to everybody, including yourself.
Treat yourself.
But you also, and I mean this in the best way, like you want to take good care of yourself in a good way. Like you have good vibes. And you say, you know what, if I want to do something or I want to do this, like I'm gonna get it. And I have actually been terrible at this historically. So
I am not terrible at it. So
no, it's good, but I think people are. So if you've been like waiting to do something fucking awesome for yourself, like you deserve it, buddy. Whatever it is, like make sure it's not something dangerous or like you don't go into like massive credit card debt either. Okay, all within reason. It's terrible.
Responsible betting, responsible purchasing as well.
Yeah, like that's it. I'm buying this Ferrari. No, something
you cannot buy a Ferrari
nice.
like Nick Saban.
Yeah, Jesus.
With your dip cups.
With your dip cup. So yes, with that, I hope everybody does have a wonderful holiday. We will be back next week to talk more bowls, and I will fuck things up accordingly. For Paige, I'm Adam. We will talk to you